extra man coming. Pass. Johnson cannot haul it in. Deontay Johnson was there.
Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. Make sure you subscribe now, and if you can, please consider joining as a member to support the show. Well. Just a day after I go on record to question the venerable Mr. Michael Tomlin, we find ourselves in possession of what amounts to one of the worst road efforts in Cleveland by the Steelers this millennia. I know it won't be easy, and I already know less of you are clicking into this, but I'm gonna do my best not to turn this into the Comedy Central roast of the hapless Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers versus Browns. Here comes old number 7, Big Brissett. Remember a time when it'd be laughable to say Jacoby Brissett was the best starting quarterback in a game against the Steelers? I do. 3rd and 10, Jacoby gets enough time to build a McMansion, but a nice play by Levi, who's covering tighter than that pair of 501s that you had in high school. I don't get the timeline we're in. Mitchell Trubisky's the Steelers quarterback. Al Michaels is talking about Lord of the Rings. Are we sure we're not in just some sort of football purgatory? This is a nice play by Mitchell Trubisky? It is. Great scramble to avoid the rush, and great throw to Deontay for Money Mitch, who I'll concede at the very least showed more today than he had in the previous 2. 3rd and 5, and it's almost like the Steelers are doing that thing it always looks like they're doing, where they respond almost directly to criticism even in spite of themselves. I'm not saying Gentry or Naj get the first here, but is this the time to go deep? I don't know. How about just picking up the 5? Here you can really see Myles Garrett's dominant impact on the game. Just putting this series in to stick a flag in the sand that says the Steelers' D was hanging tight early in this game, we'll come back to this. Series ends with an awesome little okie dokie by Ogunjobi to put Brissett down and force the punt. Why kill a brew when you can kill a dude? Special teams captain Miles Killebrew grabs a slick-tipped punt to put the Steelers in great starting field position, but then again, in this strange new time, does it even matter? Of course it doesn't. The Steelers possessed the ball for 2.5 minutes, including this little doozy that I'm quite sure 31 other offenses might have audibled out of, and of course this sour milk smelling drive ends in a miss for our one and only saving grace, Mr. Chris Boswell, who finds out that not only does Cleveland suck, so too does its wind. Back to the Browns, and you have to ask yourself, are spoons meant to tackle? I mean, I know they can scoop. Speaking of which, someone's gonna have to scoop a Kello off the turf after that
tackle.
And you best break out your best Thanksgiving colored slacks because the Cleve Brownies are entering the business zone. I guess I'm going to have to put this one on a looper because Cookie's favorite son gets roasted by Cooper and the Browns are on top early, 7-0. Back to Mitch Trubisky and the Sour Patch Kids, and as bad as this offense might be, Deontay Johnson is literally always open. 2nd and 3 and Money Mitch is rolling and slinging, and holy shit, you're gonna need to excuse me while I'm picking my jaw up off the floor. Absolute catch of the year nominee for the Rook, and I don't even care that it's only week 3. You won't see a better catch than this year. Add in a 3-10 split by the bowling ball that is Jalen Warren, and the Steelers are cooking as we head into the second. 1st and goal, and it's the Naj man who toteth, and with a violent push, he takes it in for the score, and the Steelers are dueling right now? Now, I know you don't really cook Jell-O, but Amari Cooper sure does cook a Kello, but the Steelers dodge a bullet on an illegal touching penalty. When did Bud Dupree get back, and why is he in coverage? You know, they always say it's tough to cover a guy whenever they run a route. Tight coverage by the Steelers secondary here, who seems content to suffer a horrifying death by paper cuts. Now, I'm no X's and O's guy, but this is the guy that people were ready to move on from Joe Hayden for? Couldn't be me. With another play that certainly won't help the narrative, Terrell Edmonds opts for the odd, give the giant tight end a bunch of space coverage, and Njoku snags a damn rope from Jacoby Brissett for the score. Browns miss the kick, but take a 6-point lead that feels like 23. You cannot cover Deontay Johnson. It's not like they didn't do anything better in this one. At least Canada was trying to move the pocket. Now this is why you'd sign Mitchell Trubisky. Great job by Mitch to step up and avoid the rush while keeping his eyes downfield and hitting DJ. I don't think it's a hot take to say this is when he's at his best. What's that noise so foreign? It's a rumbling and tumbling Jaylen Warren who coughs it up, but is lucky that DJ is right there to fall on it. Now I'm usually the first one to blame Canada, but here I gotta give him credit for another nicely designed sweep to chase the bank, who is great at these, but I still think needs to be more involved in the passing game than he has through these first three. Are the Steelers good at offense? Am I dreaming, or is it all clicking right now? Second and goal, and it's a keeper from Magic Mitch XXL, who beats his man to the spot for a touchdown. Even I, the most ardent leader of the anti-Mitch agenda, must admit that we're starting to at least see something. Steelers go up on the extra point, 14-13. Gross. I heard someone say Devin Bush was all over the field last night. I think he covered about half the field on this play alone. Great tackle on 3rd and 8 by On the Button, and the Browns, in no fear whatsoever of the Steelers, go for it on 4th and do, but don't get it on an Amari Cooper drop, and it's back over to the Steelers with 30 seconds and 1 timeout to cook. This one's for those that say the line is still the biggest problem. Mitch gets as much time as any Steeler passer has since 2018, but can't find anybody. Next play though, he gets time again and finds a crossing chase the bank deep down the field, and maybe the Steelers have a shot. Time again, and nothing again. Now I'm no body language expert, but Steelers go nowhere on 2 more plays, and we head into the half with a stunning 14-13 lead for the Steelers. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications to catch 5-Star Radio and all of our other uploads during the week. And if you can, please consider becoming a member on YouTube. There's a button below. For just a couple bucks, you can support the show and help us create better content for you guys. Now roll the game. All right, Steelers, 2 straight drives. You get it to start the half. Let's keep up that momentum. No? Okay. Oh wait, just a minute. I almost forgot about this because it's literally the Steelers' only 3rd down conversion of the night. After this one, they're up to a sizzling 13 of 39 for the season on 3rd downs. 2nd and 7 nearing midfield, and it's a dump off to the omnipresent Najee, who goes up and over for the 1st down, and don't look now, but the Steelers are cooking for the 3rd straight series. Matt Canada up in the booth all like, hit me with another of them shovel passes, and I gotta admit, it's blocked up nice, and the more we see of this Jaylen Warren, the more impressive he is, but unfortunately a gigantic penalty calls it back, and the Steelers offense just isn't good enough to make up for plays like that. Mitch gets a chunk back with Deontay, but can't connect on 3rd, and makes it a 4th and 5 from the Browns 41, and wait just a minute here. I thought we didn't live in our fears, Mike. I thought we had a clever offensive coordinator capable of scheming up easy plays to get our talented skill players in favorable matchups. I thought we were starting the veteran quarterback because he gave us the best chance to win, because he'd have us in the right spots in the so-called weighty moments of a game. You know, speaking of veteran quarterbacks, I seem to remember a certain coach going for a 4th and 1 at his own 34 with a 2-point lead against a way better team one time. Does anybody remember who that quarterback was? Steelers take the penalty, so it ultimately looks like they punt from the 46, but I'm sorry, I can't let this slide. This is just the definition of living in your fears for Mike T. This team is built top to bottom to lose slow right now, and it's no coincidence that so many Steelers games in the last several years have followed the exact same script, but they simply don't have the guts or gas to finish the fight anymore. In the words of Michael Scott, boom, roasted. Nick Chubb is hard to tackle, especially if you don't tackle him. Brown's run game is just too much and beginning to overpower the Steelers, as this drive approaches 6 minutes in length and Kareem Hunt strolls to an unbelievably easy 1st down on 4th and 1, and the Browns would finish this one 9 of 20 on 3rd and 4th down, while the Steelers finished a laughable 1 of 9. Great tackle by On the Button settles him down while Akello makes his best play of the day, unknowingly getting hit by the football. Brownies come up short on 3rd and take the points, and why wouldn't they? Browns take the lead 16-14. Now this is what I'm talking about. Now this is not. Come on, Deontay. Gigantic play here as Trubisky fires off maybe his best pass as a Steeler under pressure for just about the only time of the night, I might add, by Myles Garrett, and it goes right through DJ's breadbasket. I love the man and often acknowledge he's the best player on this offense, but I kind of think you gotta make this catch if you're making $18 million a year. It's back to the Browns, and we head into the fourth, and what do you know, it's another 3rd and 1, and it's another burnt toast of a secondary for the Steelers, who bite hard on a play fake they probably wouldn't have stopped anyway, and Brissett hits a wide open Amari Cooper for a gigantic gash. The Steelers' chances to win this game are dwindling. Well, ain't that just a kick in the teeth? Nick Chubb bounces through the Steelers' defense like it was the ball pit at a discovery zone. 3rd and inches, and I may not know everything there is to know about football, but I do know if a guy like Jacoby Brissett is celebrating on you like this, you might be in a position to reconsider your evaluation of the team. Great play by Devin Bush on 2nd and goal, who in all seriousness has been playing a little bit better this year, but the good feels are short-lived when Nick Chubb smashes it in on 4th and goal, extending the Browns' lead to an insurmountable 9 points with 9 minutes remaining. In case you're wondering, the Steelers are to this point averaging a measly 0.28 points per minute played, but who's counting? After that gargantuan 6.5-minute drive by the Browns, the Steelers offense, aka the Goof Troop, comes out and grabs a cool -5 yards in less than 56 seconds of clock and meekly punt it back again, and really, what's the point? Just to elongate our suffering, Alex gets a cool tackle for loss, and Cooper takes one off the face mask, and it goes back to Mitch Trubisky and the Fox Force 5 for one last chance to catch up. But catch up they shalln't when Najee whiffs on a blitz pickup and Money Mitch gets bagged and tagged for the sack. Steelers punt it back again for some reason. Seriously? Why? I'm not saying anything. 3rd down sack by Alex the Great gets Jacoby off the field once more, and for some reason, oh yeah, because we're in purgatory, I forgot, we have to watch the Steelers offense play some more. Actually playing free and loose, Trubisky suddenly starts slinging ropes, one to Deontay and a pair to Muth, who I wonder if he just remembered was playing tonight, and while it might be too little too late, the Steelers are in business. Unfortunately, it's not a very prosperous business, as Pickens can't come down with an almost touchdown, and Mitch and Pat can't quite hook up on yet another 3rd and 5. Mike chooses to take the 3, which I personally almost always think is fool's gold, but to each their own. That leaves the Bosman to try and execute an almost perfect onside kick, but unfortunately, even if he's open 90% of the time, George Pickens is 100% offsides, and the ball goes back to Cleveland, and with it too, hopefully, is the end of this suffering. Because the football gods are woefully petty tonight, the Browns come up just short after a reviewed spot again, why? And they punt it one final time to the Steelers, who for good measure execute one of the worst hook and lateral attempts in the history of hook and lateral attempts, and thankfully, this fever dream of a Thursday nighter is over. And you might ask yourself, well, how did I get here? To which I might respond with wimpy play calling, an absolute inability to sustain drives or convert 3rd downs, a defense missing its best and most impactful player, and a coach who seems perfectly content punting and punting and punting until Presley Harvin's leg falls off. The reality is that the Pittsburgh Steelers, as they are currently constructed, are a team that's built to lose slow. They stay in games longer than they should, but it's partially because no opponent they play fears them on offense. I'm not pinning this one entirely on Trubisky either. I can acknowledge he played better, but I don't want Kenny Pickett to play necessarily because he makes the Steelers any better in 2022. Look at the schedule. The Steelers aren't likely doing anything of note in 2022 regardless. It's time to just rip the damn Band-Aid off and lean in. The future is now, and until the people at the top of this organization admit that to themselves, the Steelers are just going to continue losing these battles of paper cuts because they simply don't have the talent to overcome the flaws in their game planning anymore. So far, this team is very much the same as what we saw last year, but at least last year they had a closer. What does it say about the Steelers offense and Trubisky, and Canada for that matter, if we came away from a game where they scored 17 points, just 3 of which came in the second half, and for a stretch of time in the 3rd and 4th quarter traded possessions of 1 minute 27 seconds, 56 seconds, and 1 minute 10 seconds, while the Browns had 2 individual possessions that were more than twice that total. The offense just isn't good. It's the sad and honest truth. Whether you think it's Mitch Trubisky or Matt Canada or the defense's fault, it's mostly just incidental. The truth is that right now, none of these things are better than the opponent's versions of these things. You know what though? It doesn't have to be all bad. The Steelers just need to stop lying to themselves and play like they have nothing to lose. Because they don't. Here we go. If you're still here, please consider joining us as a member for exclusive perks. You can find the button below, and we'd really appreciate it if you can. Either way, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. See you next week.